Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year. We are back for a new season of Working Girl Wednesday, and I'm super excited about this first conversation. So, as you're coming in, please like, share, and comment. Tag some people to this conversation. Anybody, not just women. We are going to talk about all things real estate. We have Shelly Silverman here, who's going to give us some nuggets, some tools for those who are interested in buying or selling your house. This is going to be an amazing conversation. So I'm super, 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 super excited. We're not going to be here long, but we want you to make sure that you get all the information that you need to learn about real estate, about selling, and everything like that. But before we get into the conversation, by a way of announcement, we have so much that is coming up this year and these next few months alone. March 25th, 2023. If you have not seen the flyer already, I don't know where you've been. We are super excited to be having our Bibles, Bosses, and Brunch. It is my first time doing this luncheon, this brunch, and I'm super excited bringing different women of faith together. Now, let me put this disclosure out there. Everybody is a boss. Everyone, if you are a manager, if you are a mother, if you are a teacher, we all have our own inner boss. So I don't want anybody to think that because they do not own a business that they are not a boss. This is not just about entrepreneurs. It's a mentality of a boss. And we bring in all of these different women together, women of faith, talking about how God helped them in their careers, in their walks of life. And most of all, it's going to be about having fun. We have so many surprises lined up for that day. So if you haven't already, get your tickets for the Bibles, Bosses, and Brunch. After March 1st, tickets do go up. So you want to get your tickets while it's $65. After March 1st, it goes up to $75 and $85 at the door. So you want to make sure you get your tickets in advance. Now, my last announcement for the night, and we're going to get right into the conversation. I have launched, by the grace of God, my Glam Up Mentor Group. Is something that the Lord placed on my heart in December of last year. And He told me to reach out to 5 women, to get a group of 5 women to help them grow, to mentor them into the things of God. I already have my first session with my first mentee. I only have a few slots open. So if you are interested, the information is on my page. You can sign up today. You can sign up. It's 5 months, but I have a whole curriculum of everything that you need to grow spiritually and emotionally. So if you want to sign up today, the links is still open, and I will gladly welcome you as my mentee. Now, without further ado, we're going to get into our first Working Girl Wednesday of 2023. And we have Miss Shelly Silverman. Hello, Miss.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am
I'm
doing
excited.
well. How are you?
Awesome,
I'm
awesome.
so glad we were able to connect. Like I said before, we were trying to connect since last year, but
Yes,
so much happened. But the Lord allowed us to come together tonight, and I
yes,
think it's an amazing time right now, as far as real estate and things that are going on for us to actually have this conversation. Now, can you just give us a brief introduction on who you are and what you actually do?
okay. I'm Shelly Silverman. Actually, I've been in the business. Next Monday is my anniversary. It'll be 25 years.
Wow, happy
Uh,
anniversary!
Thank you. I work at Public Trust Realty Group and TNEC, and I'm a broker associate. So I can, at this time or years ago, could open my own business if I
Wow.
chose to. Yes.
Wow, that's super amazing. That is amazing. You said 25 years. That's a long time. So obviously, this is something that you are passionate about and that you actually love doing for you to be doing it for so long.
Yeah, I've seen some things. Yes, absolutely. I got into the business because I was in corporate America and I was doing office management. And I felt like after the second, third job, after being there so many years, that once they find out everything you know, they let you go.
Mm.
And I was like, this layoff thing is not working for me. And, I was a single parent. So it gave me kind of the push when my mom was buying a house. The lady that was helping her was like, you should get into this business. It'll give
Mm.
you the flexibility, be with your son at his games, etc. And I think you'll like it. So that's how it started.
Wow. So you kind of stumbled into it, right?
Yes.
It wasn't
Yes.
something that you set out to do. And how did your faith impact, what you do?
I think that it plays a lot in business. Anything that we do, I think faith plays a lot. It goes like hand in hand.
Mhm.
I believe that it ultimately impacts it positively.
Right.
It can ultimately make you go after things that you never thought you would go after.
That's
It
good.
gives you that push. It makes you make those decisions that are hard to make. Because I think sometimes if we don't have the faith to believe, those decisions are just emotional decisions.
Come on.
So, if we don't believe and have faith, it doesn't, you don't go anywhere.
Can
You
you
don't go
say that one
anywhere.
more time about the emotional decisions? Can you say that one more time?
When you make in business, you make I want to say big decisions that ultimately not only sometimes affect your business, but affect you and the
Mhm.
outcome of your business. So, in order to have faith, you have to have faith because otherwise, your emotions, you can't take your emotions out of it.
Mhm.
And you just make decisions based on your emotions. And, decisions based on emotions usually don't work out.
Yeah. Are y'all
You know,
getting this? Like,
they usually don't work
are
out.
y'all getting this? Hey, Kimmy, I see you in the comments. Hey, listen, she's already dropping jewels. Are y'all hearing this? Like, Lord, I don't want to make no emotional decision. I want to make faith decisions. Okay.
Right. Faith decisions. Faith decisions pretty much give you your foundation. So,
Mm,
I mean, if your business is going to be built on integrity and positivity and
yeah.
the way you conduct yourself on a regular basis that's supposed to mirror God, you
Yeah.
have to have faith.
You gotta have faith.
You
Yeah.
got to have faith. You have to have faith. And this world is really, I mean, businesses come, go. That first 5 years, they say in business, like if you're going to really stand in business, if you
Mhm.
stand for 5 years, they say, oh, you're good to go.
Mm,
But during that time, if you don't have faith to believe of the ups and downs, or you don't have anything to look forward to or
mhm.
something to push towards,
Yeah.
you're never going to get there
So
because
Mhm.
emotionally, you'll probably be spent
Exactly.
because the more and more, it fluctuates. Your
Mhm.
business fluctuates. Like my business fluctuates. And the more and more it goes up and down, your emotions go up and down. Your
Right.
feelings go up and down. Oh, I'm quitting. I'm quitting today. Like I can't do this anymore. I mean, I've been in it 25 years and there's days that after like a few hours, I'd be like, okay, today's not the day. I'm gonna have to
Mm,
try again tomorrow because it's like fighting, a battle that you're not going to win if
yeah.
you're not focused in the right position mind, the mindset that you have.
So
So,
how important is having that mindset? And this is for anything.
oh, it's very important because it can take you right out quickly.
Mm.
I mean, even waking up in the morning,
Mhm.
how your body is feeling. So it's already making a decision
Mhm.
based on how it's feeling. So if you
Right.
don't have the mind to go with that body,
Right.
you'll be laid in the bed every day,
Right.
every day.
Right. 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 That's
Ultimately, to me, faith is everything because in those times where it gets rough or things don't go right, you get spent, you get stressed. But to continue to go, you have to be looking forward to something.
right.
And if you're not looking forward to something, then you're just going to stand still
Mm.
and nothing's going to happen. Nothing literally can happen if you don't have the mindset to continue. So that's why praying and reading your scripture is very important
Yeah.
because that too can spark you to go
Yeah.
ahead, you know? So
Yeah.
it gives you like that push
It's like the
ultimately.
fuel that
Yes.
the fuel that you need.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what do you think is the hardest thing that you ever had to face in your career?
Oh, hardest thing is balance.
Mm.
Um, Probably one of the things is balance because real estate is very demanding. I'm not one of those that say 9 to 5, because there's some people that can't do business before 5.
Mhm.
Um, so that is one. And I guess in the business, you have to learn how to balance. And when I mean balance in finance as well too,
Yeah.
because commission is based in real estate based when the deal is done. So if
Mm.
the deal does not close, you're not getting paid.
Wow.
So I don't care if you work with this customer for 6 months, 9 months, and they lose their job. Like I had this happen the end of last year, they lose their job. It's nothing that can be done.
Wow.
They're not getting the house. You're not getting paid. So you ultimately get frustrated and be like, oh, I'm working for nothing. Not
Wow.
So it's easy to get into the mindset like, what am I doing this for? And why am I doing this even though I like it and I feel that
Yeah.
it's, my passion? So you can really get twisted. So that mindset again comes into play, as
Mm.
well as I would say in real estate discrimination, because still in this day, there
Mm.
is discrimination. There is, I mean, my last name gets me into places. I tell you, my last name
Yeah, it's
gets me
almost
into
Jewish,
places.
kinda.
Yes, it's Jewish. My mother's side of the family is Jewish.
Wow.
So I ultimately get into places and they have no idea that I'm African American, that I'm no idea until they meet me. So it becomes like a topic of
Mm.
conversation. And all I got to do is talk and it's over. So, I mean, it doesn't matter from there. But
Right.
pre-received knowledge, like when you're showing properties and you'll get these calls and they'll be like, how many people? Why? Why do you need to know how many people? Like strange questions.
Yeah.
Just like I'm being targeted right now because of the color of my skin. You
Wow.
don't want to show the property because you don't want us there. And it
Mm.
happens a lot. I mean, we go through more moral ethics training every year, but I
Mhm.
don't care how you slice it, people still have a very strong racist opinion in this
Mm.
business.
That's sad. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Can we just talk about balance real quick though? Because I feel like we all have that problem. I know I do.
Yeah, balance is hard. I mean, between work, church, family.
Right.
I mean, that's usually on my vision board quite a bit every
Me
year
too.
because because once you get roped into, I want to say, get into going to something, there's like you forget your boundaries.
Right.
You forget when to shut off. You
Mm.
forget that, the people you talk to have families too. You have
Mhm.
families too that you're
Mhm.
neglecting because you didn't turn off.
Mm.
So learning to turn off is very key because you need that. I mean, not just for the relationships that you have,
Right.
but you need it for yourself. Because if you never turn off,
Mm.
it's a burnout situation.
Yeah, that's good because it's sometimes you can like be somewhere and then your mind is like totally, you know,
Absolutely. Just like driving. Just like driving. You're
right.
used to driving in the morning, driving somewhere, and then before you know it, you done passed your exit because it's like on autopilot.
Right. Right. And which is that's kind of scary. That's kinda scary. Like, how did I get here? Wait a minute.
Right. Oh
What?
God. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
What just happened? But yeah, like yeah, I've always I don't want to say I struggled with that, but that was always one thing that was the hardest thing for me because I play so many hats is, balancing, especially decompressing,
Yeah.
because when you're especially when you're creative, your mind is always going, you always thinking about the next and not really, embracing a moment. I always tell Ashley Smith, I'm like,
Yeah.
Ashley, when I'm having these events, remind me to be here now.
Yeah.
Remind me because I'm always thinking about the next. So I can't even celebrate the win now because I'm
Right.
thinking about the next win.
Yeah. That's mostly when people give events, they're never present. They never enjoy the moment because they're always concerned about everybody else and the production itself. So
Yeah.
it becomes really hard. And I guess the other thing that's important to balance is saying no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. I probably didn't start saying no till I was 50. So,
Wow.
it's
Somebody put that in the comments. No, in caps. No. It's
you
okay
can't
to
do
say
everything.
no.
Like you try to
Yeah.
do what you can do. And that's what we should be doing. Not just be doing because somebody else did, but doing to be functional.
Right. Right.
Because I find that we do stuff just to be doing stuff and say that we were there, but are we really functional to be going there and
Right.
to be there? So it
Right.
counts a lot.
Yep. Cammy said, I learned how to say no.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
one of the hardest, it's one of the hardest things. It's one of the hardest things, especially for those again in ministry,
Mhm.
whether you're a mom or at church or whatever, you know, your role is hard. It's just hard. It's so
Yeah.
hard to say it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
It's so
See, and
hard.
if you don't and you continue to say yes, something suffers somewhere.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So as far as your career,
Mhm.
and what you do, what are some things that a home buyer should know? That somebody who plans on buying.
They should be on top of their credit, get their credit report regularly, and get all three: the Experian, the Equifax, and the TransUnion.
All three.
All three, because sometimes all three will say something different.
Okay.
They're not always reported. Like you might find a credit card bill only reported to two
Mhm.
instead of one. That's why the difference of the different credit scores, because
Mm.
they're all not reporting the same thing.
Mm.
So a good credit score or decent, I say fair, good to get a mortgage is 620.
That's decent.
Decent, fair,
Okay.
decent. Um, there are programs out there where you can get a mortgage 580, 600, but of course the rate is going to be higher
Right. Right.
because your credit score is lower. And people have to keep in mind that when the mortgage company runs your credit, that it's different from what you see. It
Why
will
is that?
It will never they run a different it's a different category. It's a different the way that they run it. It's different and it brings up a different FICO score. So internally, they'll get the three scores, but what they go off of is your middle score.
In the middle would be
So
the
if you had a 600, a 625, and a 700, 625 is a score. They take it. They're not taking the 700.
oh. Wow.
So that's why it's important to be on the lookout that you are reporting everything to everywhere.
Mhm.
You know, it's fine if it's derogatory, then yeah, let it be on one and not the others. But
Right.
keeping that in mind and keeping those credit card bills paid on time,
Mhm.
any kind of bill paid on time is
Mhm.
very important. And even keeping that debt down to under 30% helps your credit score go up.
So I hear people, and even on I listen to TikTok a lot. I feel like it's like a new Google, and I
Uh-huh.
listen to like real estate and mortgage people up there, and they were talking about like the debt to income
Right.
ratio. How does that how does
Okay.
that really work
So
out?
your debt is one amount, and then they take that versus your gross income.
Hmm.
So generally, your debt can't be any more than between 28 and 40%. It depends who's working at a regular bank, a mortgage company. But yeah, you have to be under a certain amount. Thus, the more debt you have, I don't
Hmm.
care how much money you make, you won't be able to get the house amount up if you have debt.
Wow.
So if you were, let's say you had little debt and you could, get up to 500,000, and let's say you had 70,000 of debt, you might only get 350.
Wow.
So, you really have to, work on that, on the debt, because the less debt you have, the more you can put towards a house.
Hmm.
And I think the state of New Jersey or just federally that it's only like it's a certain percentage, like let's say 28% that equates to housing.
Mhm.
that you're not able to go over. So, like when people are renting and everything, they'd be like, oh, rent is the first thing I pay. I'm going to pay that bill. That's not how it works when you buy a house. They
Mm.
don't care how much you say you're going to pay. They go by statistics and by numbers on how much you can technically afford.
And your debt will be considered everything, like your credit cards, your
Mhm,
car payment,
mhm,
or
mhm. So
student
when you
loans.
think, yeah, so when you're thinking about buying a house, you don't get any new debt.
Mm,
You don't get any new cars
mm,
because you're just adding on to that debt. I mean, I've had people say, I tell them, don't get any new cars. So they come up with this solution and they think that they paid off the old car, so it doesn't matter. So now they can get the new car. I'm like, that's not how it
mm,
works. Again, you just added more debt. So then less house that you can get.
mm.
Now, a lot of people don't know that they qualify. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people don't own houses because
Yeah.
they think that they can't get a house
Mhm,
and that it requires a whole bunch of money. I mean,
mhm,
there's a lot of programs out there for doctors, physician assistants, firemen, police officers that offer different things. Money towards your closing costs. Many are grants where they'll
mhm,
give you $10,000, but if you stay in it maybe 5 or 7 years, then
mhm.
that grant is forgiven. That loan is forgiven.
Okay. But that's only you said for firefighters?
Yeah, but there's a lot of that happening just for first time home buyers, period, too.
Okay, you guys getting that first time home buyers some grants out
Yeah,
there.
there's some grants out there, and if you stay in your home a certain amount of years, you don't have to pay it back. But it is, if you decided that you were gonna sell your home, it's a second mortgage, so it has to be
See?
paid at the time
Right.
of closing.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
just so you know, it
Yeah.
does. But there are programs out there. Um, Down payment wise, there are conventional loans, FHA loans that can get you the least like 3% down. So
Mm.
3% down, 300,000, $9,000, right?
Yeah.
And then closing costs are 3.5%. So around that, 3.5%. So if you take any house that you're buying and you times it by 6.5%, that's how much money you'll need to close. But the good thing about it is that when you buy a house, the first 2 weeks into the contract, you'll
Mhm.
pay a portion of that down payment. After that, all the rest, the closing costs
Mhm.
and the balance of that down payment does not have to be paid until you close. So you have a couple of months to still gather funds.
Oh, okay. Wow. See, they don't say that. They don't say that.
Yeah, they don't tell you that, but you have a couple of months to still gather funds. It's
Mhm.
still, I'm not saying you go to the bank and put in a $5,000 deposit because that's a red flag. They have
Mhm.
to still see where the money is coming
Coming
from. So
from.
if you put little stuff in like 400, 500 here, then it works out. But yeah, as less as like 6.5%, somebody could get into a home. I mean, there's even programs that are where the seller pays towards closing costs, which
Mm.
is literally called the seller's concession. So let's say you bought a house for 300,000 and you wanted the seller to give you $5,000 towards closing costs.
Mm.
They're actually not giving you the 5,000. On
Mhm.
paper it looks like that, but you're actually mortgaging that money. So
Wow.
yeah, so you would increase your offer to 305 and ask
Mhm.
for the 5,000 back. So it literally comes back, so it's not coming out of your pocket.
Okay.
It's coming out of your mortgage later on your total mortgage, but it's not coming out of your pocket, which is a better thing because when you're buying a home, to spend more money on the mortgage is better to buy a home that has more taxes. Say if you get something that has
Mm.
lower taxes but a bigger
Mhm.
mortgage, you're going to save because that mortgage is over 30 years. Those taxes are not over 30 years.
But New Jersey, don't we have like really high taxes? Like, especially
Yes,
in our
we
area.
do in certain areas of schooling. You'll find the towns that have the malls. Paramus has low taxes. Rochelle Park, Maywood has low taxes in Bergen County. Anywhere that they don't have their own school system will have lower taxes as well.
Anywhere that don't have their own
Own
school.
school system where they share with another town, like
Mhm.
Englewood Cliffs. Englewood Cliffs has a whole bunch of wealthy homes up there, but you could buy a $1.8 million home and have like 10 grand taxes.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why do you think, because you're making it sound so simple, right? So why do you think a lot of us we're not homeowners?
Because fear, scared, um, that and knowledge.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been in 25 years, but if I was taught by my mom or my mom didn't know, if I knew what I knew now back then, a lot of things would have been different. But they
Mhm.
had it out there like we couldn't do it, but we could have done it. And it could have
Mm,
been much cheaper because you
right.
figure every 100,000, depending on the percentage rate you get, let's say you got a 6% percentage rate, is like $600 per 100,000.
Wow. Wow.
And then you add in, if you put down less than 20%, you have to pay PMI insurance. So that's a couple of $100 added in there. And then you pay your taxes. And if you're in a condo or a townhouse, then you pay HOA as well. Or,
So do you think, which one do you think is better? I recognize that a lot of townhouses, they do have high HOA fees.
yeah,
Because
depending on what they offer. A lot of HOA fees don't include nothing but common
mm.
area, parking, and water. That's it. But you'll find also a lot of buildings that include heat, and those nature are higher,
Okay.
for sure. Um, Difference between co-op and condo is you don't own your co-op, you own a percentage of the co-op, where condo
Mm.
you own. So it's cheaper to get into a co-op, but a bigger down payment. Most buildings require you to pay 20 or 30% down. But again, a co-op is cheaper in that nature. But the trick with that is that the taxes, when you have a condo, the taxes and the maintenance is separate. When you have a co-op, it's together, and that's considered the maintenance. So it will always go up.
Okay.
So that's why you find, like, you'll see co-ops might find something for 200,000 or 150, but the
Mhm.
maintenance is like $1,200 a month because it's including the taxes and it's
Oh.
including the maintenance.
Wow.
So with co-ops, if you want to do any construction of any kind, it has to go through a board.
Mhm.
You can't do anything yourself. Like if you had your condo or your townhouse, you can make changes.
Mhm.
Only time that those places do not allow you to make changes if it's structural and it messes up the complex.
Yeah,
But
which makes sense.
otherwise, yeah.
What about someone who is looking to do like an investment property, like flipping?
Well,
A lot of people, that seems to be like the new thing too.
it is the new thing, but since pandemic, supplies are very high. So a
Mm.
lot of people have stopped doing flipping right now unless there's a huge gap that they're able to make the money. Um,
Mhm.
because investors sometimes they'll get hard money lending, so they have to pay back this money at you know, an increased rate. So they have to be able to buy the supplies. So that has kind of dwindled down some. But even with investment property, with buying a residential home, you have to get pre-approved before you go outside.
Right. Which makes sense.
Because we go outside and we find that nice house, and it was like, yeah, yeah, I'm approved in this, and then come to find out you're not approved, your feelings gonna be hurt,
Oh, or the house will be gone next week.
and that too. And that too. There was a lot of little inventory this last couple of years. That's what made the rates higher as well as the prices high because there was not much inventory. So everybody's fighting over the same houses.
Yeah. Has that changed? Is it still the same?
Prices are starting to come down, and the percentage rates have started to come down. Now, people always ask too about percentage rates, but there's always deals on that too. Because
Mm.
sometimes, I mean, even at 6%, there's different percentages that you can buy down. Like I said, that seller's concession. They also do that for a rate where your seller can give you money towards buying down that rate.
Mm. What?
Yeah. So I mean, they could do that. You could buy a higher rate, and then at 6 months, when it just should be down, then refinance. I mean, there's ways to get around the high rate, but the higher the rate, as long as the house is up and the rates are up, it's less money that you're going to be able to spend. But the
Wow.
lower the rate, the more house you're able to buy. So that's why when it was 3%, it was like bananas. Everybody's trying to get that.
Everybody. And the houses were crazy.
Yes.
But they
Yeah.
weren't lasting. Like I would look at houses on my block going for sale the next week, sold. I'm like, Jesus, like where I guess somebody got some money, okay? Because
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
buying these houses up.
Yeah. And I guess, and then the last part I would say is your team is very important.
Hmm.
The team that you choose to work for you. I know we all get referrals and we all, maybe even from a realtor, will get referrals from a best friend or something, but do your due diligence.
Hmm.
You need people that are really going to work for you because it's very important. Your real estate agent is very important. I'm not talking about one that just signs a contract and is done. They have to be there every step of the way. You need an attorney that's there every step of the way. Not one that doesn't answer their phone at 5:05. Not
Mm.
one that hands off everything to their paralegal to do. One that is going to take your call, going to give you their cell phone number. One that's going to be there.
Yeah.
'Cause things happen all the time. They just doesn't happen 9 to 5. Sometimes they happen on the weekends. So if
Right.
I can catch you one day on the weekend, or even if you answer an email, it's very important. Now, mortgage is very, very important.
Mm.
People search out there for the rate, but they also got to search out there for the person, because you could get the rate and have a horrible deal where people do not
Mm.
call you back. And also, when you're picking a mortgage company, it's very important that their underwriting process is in house. It's not in South Carolina. It's not in Connecticut. I need to reach out and touch somebody if I need to.
Can you explain that?
Okay, so when you go to a bank, most of their underwriting is not at the bank. Like most of their divisions are in different states.
Okay.
So underwriting is once you compile all of the stuff that the loan officer asks you for, which is like your tax returns, your bank statements, your paychecks, your bills, your credit card, whatever they ask you for.
Hmm.
Once they collect everything that they think that they have to try to get you approved for this loan, it goes to an underwriter.
Mm.
She or he then goes over the whole file, and they say what is going to be accepted by the state of New Jersey, or XYZ, or you might need to submit something else, but this is where it gets approved. If that person is not in the office where you are getting your mortgage from, you just killed yourself, literally,
Mm.
because somebody can duck your phone calls, they
Right.
can duck your emails, but you need somebody. If I need to go and I can't get you, I need to be able to go to your office.
Right. Right.
So that's very important. And I mean, just due diligence. Make sure. Just don't take people, at their word per se. Dig in a little bit.
Mhm.
Feel, because even when I give inspectors and I give out attorneys, I give 3 and 4, and I say, you call and see who you're comfortable with. Or, if you want my suggestion, I'll give my suggestion. But the problem is later on is our color sometimes when things don't work out, they get mad, but they didn't listen from the beginning.
Mm.
So they don't want to take the suggestions, but when things go wrong, then they want to blame.
Mm.
So that's a big issue sometimes. So, but those major key players, that mortgage company, that realtor, and that attorney, is life or death in a transaction, whether it's going to be smooth or not. I mean, because there's hiccups all the time, but is
Right.
those people going to help you through the way? Are they going to make it less, you know, I would say a better process for you? For
Mhm.
somebody that's never can be found, or you call them, you missed calls, they're not returning your calls, you can't find out information, you know, XYZ. So those three are really big players,
Hmm.
really big players. There is one other thing that I was saying, one other pet peeve about being in real estate is that you have to learn to like knock stuff off on your sleeve per se, because people will come to you for advice or for your information, but
Mhm.
then they won't use your service.
Mm. I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, right. Then they won't use your service. So again, that's when you got to be like, you know what? So now I have to put value in myself. So now I'm more forward. Like when people are something like, don't show up, don't come out on time. I'm like, this is how I get paid. Just like, would you not like your boss to give you your check on Friday? Like I have these conversations. Like, I don't want to waste your time. Please don't waste mine. I value my time. And if you can't respect it, then maybe you need to have somebody else. You have to start putting yourself out there like you are what you are. You say you are, and how you run your business. And people have to, take it or leave it. Because there are some times where I just all money is not good money. And I pass it up.
Mm.
As much as I may want to make it or make the sale and XYZ, sometimes it's not worth the headache.
Wow. That's how you know you're not money hungry.
Hmm. Absolutely.
If you're willing to
Absolutely.
walk away
Hmm. Hmm.
for your peace sake.
Yes, for your peace and your happiness. So
Yeah. So my last and final question would be how does one know if they're ready to buy a house?
if they have good income, if they have the credit that we described, and on top of that, if they DTI, their debt is not high, um, they have down payment money available.
Mhm.
And when I say down payment, now this is another thing. People that have 401ks, you can borrow from that.
Let me tell you something about that. I just had to tell my boss about that. He tried to act like he didn't know what I was talking about. And it was in the paper that he gave me. I said,
Yes,
"You gave
yes.
me." I highlighted red with
You
everything.
can borrow from your 401k, and that's your funds. So I've had people buy houses with their 401k.
See that?
So there, I mean, there's just so many things out there. You just got to be willing to do it.
Gotta do
And
it.
listen, have the opportunity and say, listen, I'm no longer going to pay this rent. I'm going to make this work, you know, go to classes, sit down with somebody. And as far as if you want to project to buy a house, then find that mortgage guy. Like my mortgage guy that I use very often, I'll send people to him and I say, let them run your credit. Let him tell you what you need to do. Don't do anything on your credit until he tells you what to do,
Mhm.
because he knows how to boost it. He knows exactly what needs to be paid and what not to be paid. Like when buying a house, charge offs don't count.
Mm.
Collections count.
Charge-offs don't count, but collections count.
Right. So all of those have to be paid or in a good status to be able to buy a mortgage. No defaulted student loans, never get a mortgage.
Mm.
No child support default,
Child support? What?
you're not getting a mortgage.
Somebody asked, "Can you explain that?"
Which one?
Um, what did you say before
Parents.
child support? I
Oh,
think student loans?
student loans?
Yeah, maybe student
Okay,
loans.
so student loans, they can't be defaulted. They can be in a deferred status, which is fine because it doesn't show that you're paying those, and it doesn't give you a big debt. It shows a big debt, but it doesn't show a big debt per month.
Which is so unfortunate because especially with that whole student loan forgiveness that was supposed to be going forth with President Biden, and then they put that, so many that was gonna help so many people, as far as their credit and to buy a house. So it's so unfortunate that that happened.
Yeah. And then I guess also when they're trying to decide if they're going to buy a home, I mean, that paying mortgage is one of the things on your credit that will hit hard if you pay it late.
Mm.
It will hit very hard and your credit will be down for a while.
Mm.
So if you're not one to pay your bills on time, it will be a hard hit for sure.
Mm.
So if they have that down payment, if they're ready to move and they have the extra money, because there's no calling the landlord to fix anything anymore.
You are the
You're the
landlord.
landlord. You're the landlord. So whatever happens, just as long as you have money to do it, I would say do it. I mean, houses, the market is gonna go up. your house is going to create generational wealth no matter what. So why not pay your own mortgage instead of somebody else's?
Mm.
There's ways around everything. Somebody
Mhm.
might say, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm not that." Let us help you. Speak to a mortgage guy. Speak to me. We could walk you through it. We could have you done within 6 months or a year by the time your cycle ends again for rent. So you'll be ready.
Wow. Yeah, come on. Don't y'all
You'll be
feel
ready.
encouraged tonight? I know I do. I
Yeah.
feel like I can go out and do this tomorrow. I feel it.
But it's not as hard. I think the fear of not knowing, because as I said before, if I knew a lot of stuff that I knew now, I would have bought my grandparents' house. I would have, helped my mom buy it so she would have had it. Like there's just so many things that I would have done if I would have known now.
Yeah.
But we are one generation that doesn't stick together. The Indians, the Chinese, they'll live in a house, they'll buy one house.
Yep.
15 of them will live in one house until they're ready to be able to go buy another house.
Right.
And
Right.
they go and they work together. And that's
Right.
why as you see, like these towns, like they take over these towns
Yep. Yep.
because they work together.
I know one Indian girl, she lived with her in-laws until she officially got married and they bought her husband a house. Same thing with my Jewish coworker. Her in-laws bought her husband, gave them a down payment for their house. Like this is
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and then hindsight 2020, the down payment, you just got to make sure that the down payment that you're paying that you can afford the mortgage because it could be close to nothing. There's so
Yeah.
many programs out here. They're giving mortgages out here to people that don't even have social security numbers.
What?
They have TIN numbers. Just so
What,
long as they have a TIN
what
and
is
have
that?
income and other stuff, it's like another identification instead of having social security.
Wow.
But I mean, there's investment properties out here. If you qualify, they're giving it like 15%. Like there's just so much that can be done. You just have to have your affairs in order.
Somebody put mortgage might be less than your
Yes.
rent. That's the truth.
Right.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Shelley, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm gonna call you Aunt Shelley like Ashley do.
Yes.
Auntie
That's
Shelley.
what everybody calls me.
This has been an amazing conversation, and we need more of this because you gave us so much knowledge and so much wisdom tonight, and things that seem like it was so far-fetched. It shows that it's in our reach. So
Yes.
we have the knowledge mixed with our faith in that
Absolutely.
mindset, like we talked about earlier. Like we can really do this.
Yeah.
We can really,
Absolutely.
really do this, and nothing will be, impossible.
Nothing can stop us.
Yeah,
Nothing
we'll
can
be
stop us.
unstoppable. We will be unstoppable. Do you have any closing words before we close out?
If you just have any questions, if you have anything that you might consider doing that you don't know about, you can give me a call. I do not charge for information. I believe in helping. I
And
serve.
you
I
see her
serve.
name, you can inbox her. It's on Facebook. You can inbox her on Facebook. Pastor Pam is on here. Hey, Pastor Pam, and everybody else who joined us tonight. Yes, it was amazing, amazing, amazing. And we do. Cammie said we need more sessions. We
And we
do.
can do it. We can
We
do it.
do, especially in our community. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
things that
Absolutely.
gives us, my Pastor Pam is up here. So we got both Pastor Pam, your Pastor Pam and my Pastor Pam. All right, we thank you guys for joining us. Auntie Shelley, don't
Thank you.
leave when we log off. I got an extra question
Okay.
offline. Don't leave.
Okay.
All right.
right.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back at the end of the month for another Working Girl Wednesday. We're going to be up here with the group Anointed Friends. They are going to join us on January 25th. We'll be up here for another Working Girl Wednesday. If you want more information, please inbox her. Her name is on the screen. Any questions, information, inbox her. She gave us the tools, the wisdom, and she told us what we need, and she has the resources. So please don't be afraid. Just be courtesy. Be nice. Don't come out just talking. Make sure you greet her first. Say hello, hi. I'm like, introduce yourself.
Right.
Make sure you get the information that you need so that we can create generational wealth. All right.
Yes.
Have a good night, everybody. I will talk to you all
Bye-bye.
soon.